2024 is shaping up to be a very exciting year for electric car buyers because we've got yet another new model entering the market to play in that Goldilocks space. You know what I mean? Not too big, not too small, not too expensive, not too space age. This is the Audi Q4 e-tron. It fits nicely into the range and it may just be the family EV that you're looking for. The Audi Q4 e-tron is available in two body styles, an SUV wagon and a sportback, and both are offered in two drive options. The Q4 45 e-tron offers 210 kilowatts and 545 Newton meter output through the rear wheels, where the Q4 e-tron 55 Quattro ups this to 250 kilowatts and 679 Newton meters driving all four wheels. Pricing starts from $88,300 before options and on-road costs for the e-tron 45 in either wagon or sportback, and steps up to $108,500 for the 55 Quattro SUV and $109,500 before options and on-roads for the 55 Quattro Sportback. All Q4 e-tron variants use the same 77 kilowatt-hour battery pack, and while efficiency claims for Australia are still pending, other markets note a claimed efficiency of around 16 kilowatt-hours per 100 kilometres and a range of about 560 kilometres for the e-tron 45. Equipment levels are high, with LED lights, metallic paint, a powered tailgate, digital driver's display, tri-zone climate control and leather seats that are heated up front, all part of the standard package. You'll find a 520-litre boot in the SUV and a 535-litre boot in the Sportback, with underfloor storage in both to keep your charging cables nice and safe. There is no front storage though. So talking Goldilocks allows us to add a little bit of context. By the name, the Q4 e-tron is bigger than a Q3, yet smaller than a Q5. This is the SUV body style. There is a sportback variant coming as well, which is interestingly a little bit aerodynamically slipperier, so you will get slightly better efficiency on that one. Two models, as we said, the 45 and the 55, but in terms of where this sits in the world, it is basically the same size as a BMW iX1 or a Volvo XC40, very similar to the Lexus NX as well, but it is smaller than a Tesla Model Y, which is the five-door electric SUV that most people are aware of. However, this is priced above the Tesla Model Y long range, but below the Tesla Model Y performance. Well, the back of an SUV is the important place, especially if you're going to be buying one of these as a family car. So again, here's some more context. I'm 6'3", that seat is in my driving position, but it gives us two kind of really key things to note. I'm pretty tall, I've got long legs. That is a heap of room that I have for knee room here, so big tick there. I've got a reasonable amount of headroom as well because there is a scallop cut out of the roof, even with the panoramic sunroof. So again, big tick. But something, if you're not familiar with electric cars, okay, we all talk about how they don't have a big transmission tunnel to send mechanical components to the rear wheels. You end up with a relatively flat floor, but because the batteries are under the floor, you get a high floor as well. I sit with my front driver's seat quite low, and because I've got long legs, I've got really limited toe room to get under the bottom of that seat. It's not too big of an issue because I do have a lot of legroom, but it is something to bear in mind, especially if you do have taller passengers. And you'll see too that my thighs are lifted from the seat base here because again, you've got a higher floor. If, however, you're putting children or slightly shorter adults in the back, they'll be fine. And I think in terms of space, this is where an EV really makes a lot of sense. Now it's worth calling out too, you do get an armrest, but also tri-zone climate control is standard across the Q4 e-tron range. So I've got not only vents, but I can control the temperature here as well. Let's have a quick look up front. Now, as well as the high level of standard equipment that we've gone through, it's worth pointing out that the front of the Q4 is actually a really, really nice place to be as a driver. Similar to the current Q3, you've got this angled dashboard that gives you a really strong driver-centric display. You've got the big touchscreen here, you've obviously got a digital dashboard that's standard in all models, but thankfully for me, you've got buttons on the screen that control the temperature because it is a lot easier to use. None of this just touch only, think about it when it happens interfaces. This is a really easy car to step into. So if this is going to be your first EV and you're used to not only other Audis but other sort of regular petrol cars, this is going to feel very familiar and you'll be right at home in no time. Now it's also worth calling out that because of the electric driveline, and like I said with the back you don't have the transmission tunnel, you've got a really nice floating console here. There's great storage down the front for your phone. You've got two cup holders. It's a really nice usable cabin. And it's got one of the largest head-up displays that I've seen, and it's part of the kind of fancy features that you do get in the Q4, particularly up the range, which includes an augmented reality head-up for navigation and these really cool matrix LED headlights that you can change the lighting signature on. Kind of pointless, but kind of fun, and it allows you to sort of, make the Q4 your own. Now, it is fair to mention that this car, as you see it here today, is not an Australian market car. It has features, colours, options that will be available, but probably not in a base package. But if you do want to get a better look at the Q4 ahead of its launch in the second half of 2024, Audi have said that they're going to bring a few cars over to have on display in dealerships around the country. So if you are wanting to have a look at the back seat, see if the boot's going to work for you, press some buttons, check the colours, check the brochures, you'll be able to do that ahead of the car's launch. Now, of course, if you've enjoyed this clip, hit like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff. But if you've got any questions about the Q4 e-tron, about Audi's other electric cars or any other car on the market, head on over to Drive.com.au and we have got everything you need.